What would you do if two mysterious jaguars, worn from travel, eyes fierce yet tired, suddenly appeared at the edge of a wildlife reserve where no jaguar had roamed for years? Would you back away slowly, report it to the authorities? Or would you dare to follow them into the shadows to uncover why they came and what they were hiding? Comment below before you discover the truth behind their journey, because what happens next will leave your heart pounding and your soul stirred. This isn't just a story of survival. It's a story of trust, rebirth, and a wild legacy that almost never was. In the forgotten reaches of the Solara Highlands, where golden grasslands kiss dense jungle, a storm was brewing, not in the skies, but in the balance of life itself. Two jaguars, a fierce male named Rurik and a graceful female called Ayani, had ruled this untamed region for years. Side by side, they prowled the land in silence and strength, legendary hunters, guardians of their wild domain. But the world around them was changing. Rains came late, rivers thinned, the herds they once stalked began to vanish. As the earth cracked beneath their paws and the trees whispered of dying roots, Ayani looked into Rurik's eyes, and they knew. It was time to leave. Under the cloak of twilight, they slipped away from their fading kingdom, drawn by instinct and desperation. For days they moved like shadows across unknown lands, evading rival predators, crossing scorched plains, and hunting under the silver eye of the moon. Hunger stalked them, danger followed, but something deeper pushed them onward: survival. At night, Rurik kept watch, standing guard as Ayani rested, her breath shallow from fatigue. They had only each other now. Then, on a wind-carried breeze, they caught it, the scent of water and life. Their journey had led them to the outskirts of Verdanta Wildlife Reserve, a land protected by humans, fenced and monitored, yet teeming with prey and promise. As they slipped past the boundary unseen, they didn't know it yet, but their presence had been noticed, and their story was just beginning. Rurik and Ayani pressed forward through a land that no longer welcomed them. The once teeming plains had turned brittle and bare. Prey vanished like ghosts, and the rivers they once drank from had receded into cracked beds of dust. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, but it was the silence that haunted them most. No birdsong, no rustling hooves, just the wind's dry whisper through the dead grass. Every step was a gamble. They crossed rival territories, their sleek bodies marked by hidden scratches from narrow escapes. Once, under the cover of darkness, they crouched in a ravine while a hyena pack sniffed nearby, their laughter echoing like a curse. But Rurik never let fear reach Ayani. He hunted what little he could, a hare here, a lizard there, always giving her the lion's share. Ayani, growing weaker, leaned on him more each day, her strength sapped by something more than the journey. Still, they trudged on, two shadows etched in survival. Then, after weeks of silence and struggle, a new scent drifted on the wind: fresh water and antelope. Verdanta Wildlife Reserve lay just ahead. They didn't know it yet, but this land would test them in ways no wilderness ever had, and change the course of their legacy forever. The morning mist clung low over the savanna edge of Verdanta Wildlife Reserve, softening the silhouettes of trees and distant acacia. Rangers Amara and Theo, seasoned guardians of the wild, stood atop their patrol vehicle, scanning the horizon with practiced eyes. Something was off. Tracks, massive, distinct, and fresh, cut through the mud near the riverbank. Not leopard, not hyena, jaguar. But how? These elusive predators hadn't been seen this far south in years. Amara crouched beside the prince, fingers tracing their path with reverence. "Two of them," she murmured, eyes narrowing. "One heavier, the other slower." Theo scanned the grasslands with binoculars, catching a flicker of movement, a sleek shape vanishing into the brush. They began monitoring from afar, cameras set, schedules adjusted. For days, they observed in silence. The male, Rurik, was alert, dominant. The female, Ayani, moved cautiously, her steps more hesitant than before. Amara watched closely and whispered a theory. "She's not just tired, she's pregnant." It was a revelation that shifted everything. A new Jaguar lineage, possibly born in Verdanta's care. With each sunrise, Amara and Theo grew more invested. They kept their distance, yet their hearts were drawn in. The jungle had gained new spirits, and the reserve, new hope. Weeks passed beneath the emerald veil of Verdanta Wildlife Reserve, and the signs became impossible to ignore. Ayani was pregnant. Her movements slowed, her appetite shifted, and she often lingered near the riverside, basking in the filtered sunlight. Ranger Amara, watching from a hidden blind with camera in hand, scribbled notes with trembling excitement. "She's expecting," she whispered to Theo, her partner and fellow guardian of the reserve, "and she's further along than we thought." Each day, Ayani grew heavier, her belly round and low. Rurik, ever the sentinel, never left her side. He hunted with precision, bringing her fresh kills and standing guard long into the night. It was a rare sight, intimate, primal, and impossibly moving. The two jaguars had adapted to their new world with quiet resilience. But this was something else. A new generation, born from struggle, thriving in safety. Amara and Theo prepared in silence. Medical kits were stashed in patrol vehicles. Vantage points were mapped. Every breath Ayani took was tracked like a prayer. In the heart of the reserve, life stirred quietly in her womb. And somewhere beneath the forest's breath, the jungle itself held its own, waiting, hoping, for the cub that would change everything. Ayani's time had come, but something was wrong. Beneath a canopy of tangled vines and mist, she writhed in pain, her sides heaving, her golden eyes dim with exhaustion. Labor had begun 2 days ago, but the cub had not come. Each contraction left her weaker, trembling in the undergrowth. Rurik paced nearby, a restless sentinel cloaked in muscle and tension. His growls echoed through the forest like thunder, warning everything living to stay away. But what Ayani needed wasn't defense, it was help. From a hidden blind, Rangers Amara and Theo watched in growing alarm. They had tracked the pair for weeks, documenting Ayani's pregnancy with hope and reverence. Now, that hope hung by a thread. But tranquilizing Ayani in this state was too risky, and any threat to Rurik could turn deadly in a heartbeat. Amara clenched the syringe in her palm, glancing at Theo. "If we wait any longer, she won't make it," she whispered. With hearts pounding and instincts honed from years in the wild, they stepped into the unknown. As Rurik turned to face them, baring his teeth and bracing to protect, Amara knelt low, whispering softly, holding her ground. One wrong move could mean tragedy, but one right breath could mean a miracle. The air in Verdanta Wildlife Reserve grew thick with tension as Ayani's labored cries echoed through the trees. Every moan from the jaguaress sent Rurik into a frenzied pace around her, his growls sharp with desperation. The rangers, Amara and Theo, had no more time. Ayani was weakening. The cub inside her might not survive. But approaching a wild jaguar, especially a protective mate, meant risking everything. With nothing but instinct and trust in their bond with these creatures, they acted. Theo kept the engine running, doors open. Amara stepped forward, clutching the birthing aid, her voice low and steady. "We're not here to harm," she whispered, more to herself than to Rurik. The great cat turned, his golden eyes blazing. A single step brought him inches from Amara. He didn't lunge, he didn't retreat, he simply watched. Amara lowered herself beside Ayani, carefully lifting her flank. Theo crept closer, covering his partner. With practiced hands, Amara administered the injection, murmuring softly to Ayani. Then they backed away, breath held, heart pounding. For the first time, Rurik didn't growl. He watched the humans fade into the mist, silent, wary, but no longer strangers. Something unspoken had passed between them, a fragile trust, born under pressure. Under the emerald veil of Verdanta Wildlife Reserve, life stirred anew. After hours of agony and tension, Ayani let out one final exhausted cry, and then silence. A heartbeat later, it was broken by the softest sound, a cub's whimper, faint but alive. In the dappled morning light, a tiny jaguar emerged, slick with birth and shivering against the forest floor. Rurik stepped forward, not with his usual fierce authority, but with a reverence that stilled the leaves themselves. He lowered his head, nuzzling the cub gently. Ayani, eyes heavy with fatigue, summoned enough strength to lick her newborn, purring low and deep, a lullaby of the wild. From a distant ridge, Amara and Theo watched through binoculars, breath caught in their chests. The birthing aid had worked. Against all odds, the cub, named Kalen, meaning little flame in the old jungle tongue, was alive. Over the following days, Kalen remained nestled at Ayani's side, protected by Rurik's ever-watchful gaze. The cub's cries grew stronger. Its legs, once wobbly, found footing. With each sunrise, Kalen rose a little higher, walked a little farther. A new chapter had begun in Verdanta, not just for a jaguar family, but for the legacy of trust and hope they now carried into the jungle's heart. Life in Verdanta blossomed. With the birth of Kalen, Rurik and Ayani's bond grew deeper. The cub, once fragile, now bounded through the undergrowth under his parents' watchful eyes. Rangers Amara and Theo observed from afar, noting the jaguar family's incredible progress. Ayani taught Kalen to stalk lizards in tall grass, while Rurik stood sentinel, ensuring no threat came near. Trust began to take root, not just between the jaguars and each other, but between them and the silent humans watching over them. In every sunrise stretch and moonlit purr, a story of survival became one of legacy. The tale of Rurik, Ayani, and their cub Kalen became a whispered legend among rangers and conservationists across Verdanta. Their journey, marked by struggle, trust, and rebirth, symbolized the wild's fragile harmony with humankind. Rangers Amara and Theo often spoke of the night they first saw Rurik lower his guard, the moment Ayani allowed help. Every glimpse of the jaguar family stirred something profound, a reminder that even the fiercest hearts can recognize kindness. Verdanta's team took pride in this bond, knowing their quiet vigilance helped write a new chapter, one where coexistence wasn't a dream, but a living, breathing truth. The story of Rurik, Ayani, and their cub Kalen is more than a tale of survival. It's a testament to what happens when instinct meets empathy. In a world where nature is often at odds with human expansion, this bond forged in trust proves that compassion can bridge even the wildest divides. From desperate escape to new beginnings in Verdanta, their journey echoes a truth we must remember. Conservation is not just protection, it's partnership. If this story stirred your heart, please like and share. Subscribe for more powerful tales of the wild, where love and courage always find a way.